Gamers, I don't know about you, but I'm still reeling from the end of last night's stream with Arthur eating ice cream covered in toenail clippings. It's not something that leaves you right away, you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe our boy Arthur would be down for that shit. I just can't. Painful. Quite painful. Hope you all are doing okay. It's 1 o'clock-ish on a Saturday. We are going to work more on the click and play game. Do a little bit of shit. Oh, it would be very helpful if I turned on the power strip that powers the capture card. That would be a very helpful thing to do, I think. If we didn't already implement the Garfield phones as the pickup for the stage, I'd be tempted to do the toenail ice cream as the pickup, but let's not and say we didn't. All right, come on, computer, get on screen. All right. It is 12/27/2025. The time is 13 o'clock. 3 minutes and something seconds. Hope y'all are doing okay. Hope none of you were kept up by toenails last night. I know I say this all the time, but I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about, and now that I'm sitting here, I don't got it. I don't know. While I was eating breakfast this morning, I looked out the window and I saw this lovely, long-haired, golden retriever. Meow.
Welcome to Windows 98. Why are you still using Windows 98?
I caught him.
What is wrong with you? Stop buying computers from thrift stores, man!
Yeah, I saw this lovely golden retriever, long-haired golden retriever, doing like a casual little... It's not even a sprint. You know that thing dogs will do where they move quickly, but it's almost like they're trotting, except not trotting. It's like a dog trot, but they were moving quickly, quite quickly along a path. No, this unleashed dog just going on its own. I'm like, huh, it's a little weird. And then like 10 seconds later, I see this woman holding a coiled up leash, kind of jogging in the same direction, who clearly should have thought twice about letting her dog off that leash. Clearly she should have thought about letting that dog off their leash. I'm a firm believer that there's no situation where your dog should be outdoors off a leash unless they're in like a fenced off yard or like a dog park. Like, it irritates me so much when people take their dogs outside for a walk without a leash. It's just this complete disregard for the safety of others and for the safety of their own dog. It just pisses me off so much. But of course you can't do anything about it, because most of the people who do that are the kind of people who have like this cum-brained, like, you know, tough guy, like, perception of himself, where it's like, yeah, my dog obeys me, doesn't need to wear a leash. And it's like, I wish a truck would hit you. Not your dog, just you. And you can show that truck how tough you are. Cum-brained. It's the wrong use of the word cum-brained. I mean, like, testosterone. And the thing is, it's not even testosterone. Because oftentimes you see women doing it. And it's always the kind of woman who you could just tell just by looking at them. Like, if you have any sort of interaction with them where they're at fault for something, they will never accept the fault and will instead, you know, get, like, aggressive towards you for... It's not a man or woman thing. It's a thing where it's always insufferable fucking assholes who do it. Where everything that goes wrong, it's never their fault, no matter what. It's always someone else's fault. I'm sure you know the kind of people I'm talking about. Anyway, I don't know why I'm going on this spiel about people who don't keep their dogs on a leash. It don't matter. None of this matters. Good old 35%. Covered in animal hair. Alright, so last we left off, we were progressing with the stage. So I say we take a quick go through of the stage and see where we stand. There's a lot of hair. I need to get a haircut. And I need to shave my face. And I need to get my teeth either, like, root canaled or yanked the fuck out, but whatever. I'm busy. Alright, let's see where we stand. Oops. Accidentally barrel rolled. Again. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Okay. So far, so good. We have a solid beginning. It gives you a chance to kind of get accustomed to the enemies, how it works, how the game controls. Then we have a slew of Frog Luigis. And I've not forgotten that we still haven't addressed the health bar layering issue. We will address it at some point, but I figure it'll be something we address later. Because there's no way to address it that won't be annoying. Tedious for us to do, I mean. Okay. I'm gonna spam Albert. Watch him get away. Oh, right, that's where we left off. We were debugging some weird shit with Albert, where sometimes he didn't, like... He didn't move the way we want him to. Okay, so that's what we'll do next once we have a handle on this. Okay, we got the octopus taken care of. He's all set up. Got a whole slew of these guys. I think there's another. Yep. Okay, there's another layer. Slight little twitch with that middle tentacle that spawns in. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with it not changing direction immediately on spawn. 7. We died. Oh, no, we didn't. I lost track of Arthur. So we're roughly at 107, I believe, in terms of the level. 107. Okay, so that's a little over a minute and a half, right? Am I wrong? Hey Siri, how many minutes is 107 seconds? Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Hmm?
Fuck you.
I won't respond to that.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to set the alarm. Not the alarm, the timer for the little girl taking her nap. Let me do that now. There we go. Alright. Right, we wanted to debug the Albert issue. So let's hit the debug button. We're spawning in at 50 because we're debugging an Albert issue, where he doesn't always escape the way we want him to. That time, it was fine. We were spamming him a bit, but, you know, I want him to come in a bit more. Oops. Okay, we're gonna have some fish here as well, but because I was a little late in the button. Okay, now let's try to get him and see what's going on here. You see, there he escaped downward. Okay, so here's what I want. Okay, let's do a quick review of how Albert is set up. Albert is set up to be a ball movement with only 8 directions. We can't do less than 8 because that's the lowest that the engine supports. His initial direction is always set to either left or right. So theoretically, if Click and Play worked the way it was supposed to, Albert would only ever face left or right. I suspect the issue is that regardless of us setting him up to spawn only facing left or right, he is ignoring that and facing whichever of the 8 directions it wants. That's my suspicion, is that there's a glitch in Click and Play making it misbehave. So that is trivial to debug. Let's set up a new object here. Oops. Go. We will do one of these. Just a simple arrow. Center the hotspot. Give it a gorillion directions. Place it right here. Simple arrow. And we will disable that, and we will code the arrow to always set its direction to escaping Albert's direction. And this will tell us, this will confirm if he's facing the wrong direction. So let's see. Up, see? It's facing down that way. And here's the weird thing. Here's the weird-ass thing. Not only is it facing an incorrect direction, it's throwing us for a further loop by not even facing one of the 8 directions. It's facing some other direction in between down and down left. So Click and Play is completely fucking ignoring how we set the object up. So there you go. Thankfully, this should be trivial to fix. So let's see. Do we have an initializer for him, or does he just do his thing? Okay, we don't have an initializer for him. I want to do this with only one event. Let's see. 0 and 16. Ideally, we would just do if it's different than 16 or different than 0, but we don't have an OR statement inside of Click and Play. We also, the logical thing here to do is say, if he's facing any of these directions, then do this. But that's not how that works. You'd think what this event means is this would trigger whenever Albert is facing any of the selected directions, which is the most logical way to interpret it. But when you hover your mouse over it, Escape Albert is facing a direction, and for some reason, instead of any of these directions, Klik and Play interprets this as random direction out of the selected ones. So every frame, it'll pick a random direction out of the ones we selected and compare if Albert is facing that direction. Which is, of course, not what we want. Very annoying. Very, very annoying. I just had a very stupid math thought in my head here. We want to test if he's not facing 16 or 0. Math. So, 16 divided by 16 equals 1. 0 divided by 16 equals 0. Okay? 1 divided by 16 is a decimal. Theoretically, any other of these values divided by 16 is going to have a remainder. 17 divided by 16 has a remainder. 31 divided by 16, remainder. So what we could, but here's the thing, 16 divided by 16 has no remainder, because it's 1. And 0 divided by 16 has no remainder, because it doesn't. So what we could do is we could test, divide Albert's current direction by 16, and if there's a remainder, that means he's not facing left or right. And we'll force him to face either left or right. Now, before we do that, I never remember how modulus works. We're gonna load into our our test game so we can, get a proper grasp on it. All right, where's my modulus? Where's my modulus? Have I done modulus in here? RNG, I did it twice. Multiple collisions of the frame, lookup table, math test, off-screen scrolling. Maybe one of these and I didn't label it. Like, what is this one? This is our modulus test. Okay, we're gonna rename this. Modulus. Current layout, it's set up where we can move this guy around, and then we're determining if something is even or odd, right? Yeah, it's determining his position is even or odd with modulus. Okay. We're just gonna do a new frame. I don't want to fuck that one up. Alright, so we're gonna add in an object that we can use to test this. Okay. We'll get a spaceship. Here is our spaceship. We will give it 32 directions so we can test it the way we want to. We will select race car movement. Race car movement makes it. Race car movement is tank controls in Klik and Play. Left and right makes you turn. Oh god, that's a fucked up hotspot. And up makes you accelerate. What is wrong with this thing's hotspot? I don't like that. That hotspot needs to change a bit. The hotspot should... Not that it matters, but it should be down here. Okay, now we're going to give this guy race car, which is tank controls. We'll give it a low speed. Leave that the same. Rotating speed, we're going to make sure it's slow. That's too slow. In fact, that seems to be 0, so we'll just notch it up. Still too slow. Very slow. Okay. Crank it up a little bit. Okay, good. Now we're gonna get a counter that will be our directiometer. Directiometer. What a fucking word. We will set the counter to this guy's current direction. So let's test to make sure it's working. Seems to be working. See, the problem's not the hotspot, the problem is that Klik and Play does some fucky shit with the auto rotation feature. So yeah, that is reading out our direction. Good. Next, I'm going to add a second counter. We're going to make sure... I don't think it needs to support negative numbers, but we'll let it do it anyway. This will be the result of our calculation. Is this what they use for the racing parts of Mario Quest? It is. It's a baked-in movement that is on... It's a... I understand why they did it, but in practice it doesn't work well because Klik and Play only supports 32 directions, which is very kind of ratchety. So it ends up not working too well. But yes, Klik and Play default games are very soulful. And that's kind of how we started this. Because you gotta remember the Gex stage was using the default platforming movement for Gex. You know, enemies had path movement. It was a very simple platformer. It was very basic. And the funny thing is, yeah, despite all this extra shit, we keep pushing Klik and Play further and further. The Gex stage might be the best stage in the game, just because it's definitely one of my favorites, at least. The Gex stage and the Goku stage might be my two favorite stages of the game so far. It might remain that way. And it's absolutely the best boss. Like, let's be honest, we will never be able to top Gadget. Gadget is the best fucking boss we've made. It'll probably end up being the best boss I've ever made. Ever. Okay, we're setting counter 2. Skyrockets, current direction, modulus 16. Okay, so that's not gonna work because that's okay, you see how it's kind of showing us a glitched version of our current value? It's because we're trying to show a decimal, and it can't understand decimals. Klik and Play doesn't display decimals. But one thing you will notice, that bottom number that we're trying to run modulus on, when we're facing any direction, it's something. But when we're facing left or right, it's 0. Which means something about our code is working. Okay, is there a better way I can test this? I want like a better I want a little more, just to help me be sure I'm doing this right. Let's use some spinnies. Okay, so if how are we gonna do this? Should we use a math? Let's try a math. I don't know if it's gonna work. If the direction of the object, modulus 16. Now one thing to note, since we're using the compare two general values, we can only use this in a situation where we know for sure there's only going to be one object that we're testing on screen. In our case, this will work, because there will only ever be one escaping Albert on the screen at a time. But if we wanted to do this for another object that we're going to have multiple of on screen, then it would just be better for us to set up an initializer for it. Pachuco says meow. He wanted you all to know meow. Is there anything else you want to say, everyone? Do you want to tell them anything else other than meow, Pachuco? You don't? Okay. Well, you got your message out. Okay, so blah 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 16 is different than 0. I think that's right. Because we're testing if there's a remainder. Alright, so if it's different, then every 25 stinky seconds we will create a spinny in the middle. That's not the middle of the screen at all. 640, 480, 240. Okay. Movement. We'll give this guy just a bouncing ball movement. Good. Drag it on screen. And we'll just make sure the game doesn't barf by destroying it if it's off screen. Okay, so now. See, these guys are blasting in because we're facing a direction where the modulus does not equal 0. Still blasting. Still blasting. Get one more notch of a turn, and these guys should stop spawning in, if this is working correctly. Good. Now, we're going to turn another notch, they're going to start spawning in again. Yep. Still spawning. Now, one more notch to the left, and they should stop spawning in. Beautiful. Okay, so this will work. So we just have to have an event in there that tests if Albert's direction modulus 16 is different than 0, and if it is, we force him to face either left or right. I'm gonna copy this even though I'm dumb. Okay, good. Let's return to our actual game. And implement this to fix the direction issue. So, general values. So, if escape, we'll just memorize it. Okay. Current direction, mod 16 is different than 0. I'm not going to reorder the event because I'm afraid of it. Well, hold on. We're already here. But let's reorder it like this. There. So if that's the case, we will set direction to either right or left. That should solve the problem. Let's test it out. Give it a second. Give it a second. Okay, here we go. Let's take care of Albert. We went to the left. That's a good sign. Try it again. Went to the right. I think this is working. When Albert spawns in, he should say as I cut. Maybe. Here's the thing. We don't have any sounds at all because of how it lags my particular hardware setup here, which is unfortunate. I'm relatively certain the game would not have this kind of lag on another Windows 98 machine, but I don't have something set up to test it right now. I think what we can do is we will set up, we'll work on the level, we'll get the level to the end. Can you disable the shoot sounds for now? Maybe. But I'm thinking we'll get the level done all the way to the end, and once we're done with it, then we'll do another pass on the level where we just add sounds. But okay. Albert is fixed. Pachuco, please stop rubbing your head on the laptop. It's not helping you, it's only harming me. Okay, so we're up to 107. Hey Siri. Are you listening to me now?
I respect your privacy, and only listen when you're talking to me. You can learn about Apple's approach to privacy at apple.com.
Siri, just tell me how many minutes is 107 seconds.
There are no timers set.
I hate you. I hate you so fucking much, Siri.
That doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound good. It does not sound good. You know what else doesn't sound good for you? Samsung is making these beautiful folding phones that fold out into like tablets. And you can run whatever software you want on them because it's Android. And you don't have to have a piece of shit voice recognition assistant on it that doesn't understand a fucking thing you're saying. That doesn't sound good for you, does it, Siri? She just closed the little Siri orb and stopped listening after I said that. Okay. So we have 1.78-ish seconds done. We're shooting for 5-ish minutes, which is, of course, 300 seconds. So, unless I'm stupid, I take it 300 seconds. Am I stupid? I have to do the math again because I feel like I'm stupid. 60 times 5. Yes, so we want to shoot for approximately 300 seconds. Okay. So right now, we come in, we see Albert, we see some tentacles. A second wave of tentacles. Another Albert. And I'm considering when you blow up Albert, not only does Albert come out, but maybe what do you call it? A Garfield phone. But I think we'll worry about the Garfield phone towards the end as well. But that is something we can always attribute to Albert as well if needed. Okay. So yeah, the last thing that spawns in is a wave of... Well, it's the second Albert. So let's see here. I want to move the debug key back up. Where should we move it to? It's a good spot to move it to. How about 90? Let's move it to step 90. That seems like a good spot to pick up and figure out how we want it to advance. We gotta get rid of our little debug cube there as well, but we'll get it. We'll get it once we exit out of here. Okay. So this is the second wave of tentacles. Albert should be coming in. There he is. He's still working. Let's say at 116 we can spawn in something else. 116 sounds pretty good. Let me knock out the debug arrow. I kind of want to try spawning in a tentacle on each side, but at half length instead of the full length, to see if that leaves a decent amount of room for the player to navigate. And it's definitely going to fuck with you a bit if you haven't killed Albert by then, because you're going to be a little squished. You know, I remember, like, a few years ago, I was thinking, and I'm sure I mentioned it on stream. I don't remember if I did or not. But I was thinking about a potential stream thing where I would do Pokemon Red or Blue, but I would, like, use a Game Shark, so I would only capture a team of glitch Pokemon, and I would use them exclusively for the entire playthrough. That was a thought I had. But the thing is... well, it's twofold. One, you know, even if you find, like, stable glitch Pokemon that won't, like, crash the fuck out of your game, usually what you end up with a glitch Pokemon is a Pokemon with horrendous fucking stats that's barely usable, and which would make the game a slog. And then the second part of it is it's very hard to stream a JRPG. Because the fact of the matter is JRPGs are boring. I don't understand how people can watch someone do a... like... I just don't understand how someone can watch somebody grind Pokemon on stream. And I know there's people who do. I know for sure there's people who do. But I myself would not want to watch it, which makes me not want to do it. So, yeah. So for that, I don't think it's a great idea. Okay, let's see if this little spawn-in works. I mean, yeah, I've done boring core. This is a new word I've made up. Boring core games before on stream. You know, the GBA Sims games. Arguably the Elder Scrolls games. I can do them, but I need two things. I need something to talk about, and I need to make sure it's a game where the stuff in it can help fuel conversation sometimes. And I don't know how much conversation can be fueled from Pokemon Red and Blue. Okay, so shortly after Albert, we should get that experimental tentacle layout. There we go. If you focus fire on him, you can take him out relatively easy. You just have to know he's... Oh, that didn't work. So either the problem is the game had an issue with them both spawning in at once, or I don't know. But looking at the screen in the top left and right corners, you can tell it did flip the correct one that needed to be flipped, because there you can see the same part of each tentacle in each corner. So as you can see, the problem is in clickandplayg.dll. So if any of you want to go check that out, have fun. Okay, let's see. But you go get down here. I don't think I saved after setting up the spawn, so we'll have to do that again. Oh, we did. Okay. What if I spawned them in at slightly different, Y coordinates? Will that help? Let's find out. Oh, right, tentacles first. very easy to take out if you focus fire, which is arguably a bad thing, but we'll see. Okay, it's about to spawn in. That time it... Oh no. Oh, the tips are touching. Okay, so that's not an option. Okay, so they will need some buffer between them, otherwise we're gonna have issues. Okay, so let's try moving them a second apart. To see if that's decent spacing. Okay. So this will be a test with the tentacles spawning in 1 second apart from each other. Here they come. Oh, that I didn't change the number in the event, did I? I did not. I left them the same. You're talking about translation ROM hacks. The problem with translation ROM hacks is a problem that's not recent. It's as old as time. You know, like these days, it's Discord groups. Back in the day, it would have been, you know, like the IRC chat rooms. Anything done for free in service of a community always ends up being like fucked up by group drama. And with a lot of like ROM hacks for big games, it seems like they're prone to getting fucked by group drama and shit when it's like all you gotta do is translate the game, man. Like, I'm not going to pretend like translating a game is easy. Obviously, it's not. You have to have two very important skills. You have to have the ability to, you know, fucking read another language and translate it. Well, so it's more like 3 skills. 1, you need to have the ability to read another language and translate it. Okay, 1 second's still too tight. Yep, first skill you need. Read language and translate it. Second skill you need to be able to write well, so you can format that translation into something that actually makes sense in the context of the story. And then third, you need to have the computer science knowledge to be able to reverse engineer like a binary of a video game meant to run on like years and years old hardware. 3 very important skills. It's not common that it's not very common that you're gonna be able to translate, write, and hack proficiently. So to do it on your own is either extremely uncommon or done poorly in one of those 3 ways. Either the hack sucks, the writing sucks, or the translation, the directness, accuracy of the translation sucks. So it ends up being a thing where it makes sense. It makes sense for translations to be done in teams. So you can have some people who are good at the hacking, some people who are good at the writing, and some people who are good at accurate translation. And that leads to, you know, working in the groups, which inevitably leads to stupid group drama. And that seems to be why there's always drama around like ROM hacking and translations in their stupid-ass communities, and you end up with like infighting for extremely inane, like, nerd-ass reasons.
And here's the thing. Okay, well, this is a twofold thing. First of all, I understand that for the most part, at least that I'm aware of, these ROM hacks and shit are done for more or less free. They're doing it for free. They're not getting paid for it. So you can't, like, exactly demand, you know, a certain kind of work ethic. Because it's literally being done for free. You don't have much of a right to ask of these people. But at the same time, if you end up taking X number of years, despite having a large amount of people working on it, it's a thing where it's like, damn, that's a long time. And if you're doing it, and during that time, someone else ends up doing it, another team ends up doing it, who are you to get angry at them? You know? I'm gonna make this tentacle longer. But can you really be mad at them? Like, it's not your video game that they're translating. Now, in some cases, I've heard that people get mad because, like, some other people will use the work of the aforementioned team and make their own translation. And to me, it's like twofold. One, if the work was available in some form as like a, you know, a public release of the source while it's in progress or something like that, it's like you made your stuff available. Why are you mad that people are using it? Like, I understand you can definitely be upset if someone is like using your work in a situation where you didn't make it open. I guess I can understand why you'd be upset. But that brings me to my second point. You're hacking games that you didn't make, that are available to you to hack because someone else ripped them from, you know, the cartridge or CD or whatever. It's like the whole scene you're in revolves around playing other people's work. You know, playing other people's work, published games on your computer in a way that does not agree with their license. Like the basis of the community you're in is kind of surrounded in legal gray area. You don't have this isn't the right place to be uppity about people using your stuff without your permission. The whole basis of what you're doing is playing games without the people who made them's permission. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it in a very stupid, simple way that doesn't really apply. But I just, drama around shit that doesn't need drama just pisses me off. It's like you're translating the game about the talking clown, or like anthropomorphic titty animal, or I don't know what games people play these days that need translating. Like, it's not that serious. It's video games. You don't need to like form like a fucking like generational like feud between people over the video game hacking not going the way you wanted it to. I don't know. I full well believe that I'm oversimplifying this. But when people are mad because someone else translated, you know, Super Princess Deep Throat a fuckfest before they did, it's like, take a step back and look at what you're upset about. Okay. The same thing, like, I mean, one thing that came, it's also very annoying. This is an aside. It's annoying how certain games get translated over and over and over and over for no good reason, and then other games go untranslated for years and years and years. Like, how many stupid retranslations have there been of, like, Chrono Trigger? When there's, like, a billion other, like, untouched games sitting out there waiting. I don't know. That's besides the point of drama and shit that I was talking about. And the same mentality ends up happening with, like, game modding communities. And I mean, I feel like a lot of that wouldn't. I feel like a lot of that would not be there. A lot of that drama would not be there if in this day and age modding wasn't a what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue. Profitable thing, potentially. People being able to make money on the internet by turning their hobby into a side gig fucked up a lot of things, including modding. Like, as soon as the concept of being able to get paid for your game mods became a accepted thing, that blew open, like, drama for modding video games. Like all the stupid shit you see, like, just pick one, like, pick Skyrim. All the stupid fucking shit you see of people being, like, mentally unwell over their mods. It's revolting. Like, if you haven't seen the, hold on. I forgot the first part of the name. Down. If you haven't seen the Down the Rabbit Hole YouTube video about Skyrim modding, watch it. Not right now. Watch it after the stream. It just... people are fucking insane. People are unwell. Okay, we need dialogue for the big tentacle maneuver. It's not to say there weren't problems in modding, like, before it became a thing that people could profit off of. People still did it when there was no money involved. Because rather than money being something they were collecting for their mods, rather than earning money, they were earning internet karma feel-good points. And not actually, like, countable real karma. Because these people were working off of, like, you know, message boards and shit. It's karma in their heads of seeing, wow, my mod is so successful and everyone likes it. Nobody better try to use it in a way that I don't want them to. There's always been an issue. It's just the money made it worse. The money made it so now... the money turned it from something that only egotistical people would get crazy over to now something that egotistical people can get crazy over, or greedy people can get crazy over. Yeah, and that's a good way to put it, Warp Track. Like, for better or worse, once you put something on the internet, it's not yours anymore. It just isn't. Yeah, and don't get me started on people using Discord as a mod repository or a file repository. That's the most fucking infuriating thing. I've gone on about it before. We don't need to worry about it. What do we want him to say when the big tentacle barrage comes in? It doesn't even have to be anything too poignant. Oops. Just something simple. If this keyboard would fucking function. We're gonna get the... I don't want to get to the point where I have to plug this thing into a keyboard and mouse and a monitor. But this keyboard is... Okay, just a simple there everywhere should be fine. Where is it? Text? Nope. And insert it into the text table. What is the hotspot again? -3, -5. Oops. -3, -5. Gamers, I'm hungry. I didn't have lunch today. And for breakfast, I had a single frozen breakfast burrito. I have two major issues with frozen breakfast burritos. The first part is they're always so dry. And the thing is, a proper breakfast burrito, it can't be dry. Like, if I'm getting a breakfast burrito, I want it to be moist. Like, I want the scrambled eggs to not be cooked to the point where they're dry. I want them cooked to the point where they're still kind of slimy and soft. So there's like some moisture from the eggs, the egg goop. I want it to be cooked. I just want it to not be 100% cooked, maybe like 85-ish. Okay, breakfast burrito, a proper one. I want the egg. I want, either the bacon crumbles, crumbled up, shattered up bacon, or I want, the sausage crumbles or whatever. I'm not picky, one or the other. I'm open to some potatoes in there. I don't need them. I want some salsa, some sour cream. There's moist ingredients that I need. Cheese, lots of cheese. But when you get a frozen breakfast burrito, it's always just, there's the egg in there, there's the meat. You might get an inkling of something resembling cheese, but that's it. It's also extremely dry. Like, I understand you can't put salsa and sour cream. Well, I guess sour cream is good, but I understand I guess you could do salsa too. I do understand that it might make the burrito, go in the microwave and end up soggy if there's like sour cream and salsa mixed in there, but I'm fine. I'll take the soggy burrito. The second thing is, like, fucking frozen breakfast burritos are always like this big. And it's like, I'm not going to be able to, like, I don't have enough energy to even take a shit if the only thing I eat for breakfast is a burrito this big. Like, that's not enough. They need to make the fuckers bigger. And they never do. Okay, let's see. Let's get into the text real quick. And, like, I've made, like, for myself, frozen breakfast burritos before by just, cooking up regular breakfast burritos. And then just... Did I freeze them? I don't think I froze them. Okay, I must have froze them. I don't remember. But I prepped a bunch for a week and they were great. It can't be that hard to make a decent fucking breakfast burrito that's frozen. Like, come on. Okay, there we go. I microwave them. I don't have an air fryer. I don't want another appliance taking up space on my counter. I don't have a lot of counter space. Okay, we can leave that as Buster. Advance the text. What's that name? So we should get a comment from Buster. But I'm generally not happy with any frozen meat-based, like, breakfast. Like, I buy boxes of, like, the Johnsonville, or not Johnsonville, the other guy. The guy who's probably racist, and nobody cared to find out. Hey Siri, who's the probably racist cowboy who makes sausage in his death?
I found this on the web.
At least repeat back what I said. You're so boring. Jimmy Dean. I think I get some like Jimmy Dean or Johnsonville like frozen breakfast sandwiches most weeks because I'm lazy and I want something that isn't chock full of sugar for breakfast. And it's like, they're so disappointing. Like the directions tell you to do this, like put the bun in the microwave for a little bit, then put the innards in the microwave for a little bit, or sometimes they just tell you to wrap the whole thing in a paper towel, put it in the microwave, and no matter what you do, it's going to be like overly scorching hot on most of the outside, and then the center is going to be like icy frozen. I end up just kind of doing it my own way. I like snap the buns off and throw them in the toaster and then microwave the innards separately, but yeah, it's another annoyance is like, and then at the end of the day, even if it's cooked right, it's not that good. Somehow it manages to be worse than McDonald's, and that's not exactly a high bar to have to hurdle over. But I don't have like the energy / mental capacity to cook myself a breakfast in the morning because all the other shit I gotta do. And any quick breakfast is always going to end up being overly, like, fucking sugary and carby, so I don't want to deal with that. I'm fat enough as it is. I put the dialogue on 20 instead of 18. Okay, let's move it up. Pop it onto 18. Test the timing on that. Yeah, you know what might fix this issue? Refrigerated breakfast burritos. Like someone just produce a delicious line of refrigerated breakfast burritos that have like the expiration date clearly printed somewhere on it. I will purchase them, I will keep them in my fridge and have a delicious breakfast. Why is this not an option? Why is this not an option? Okay, it's a much better timed message. It's just a simple thing I get through. There. Good. So you have to kind of move left or right while tapping down so you keep up with it. That's fun. I did not make a note of when to spawn the next thing. Go through it again. I'm too busy to not be fat. I gotta take care of the little girl and everything, so I don't have time to not be fat. Go be not fat somewhere else. I'm busy. Okay, let me get a note of the timing of when we want to spawn the next wave. Not what we want to see. There's no way of telling why it crashed. That's another unfortunate thing about Click and Play. You don't really know why your game's crashing. Unless I'm like mistaken, I don't think Click and Play has any sort of like secret like hidden debug message system where it'll give you like a read through of everything it's doing. That would be great if it did. I would love it if Click and Play had a proper debug system, but I don't think it do. Let me test if everything is still in place. Where's the dialogue? Okay, yep, still in place. Try it again. Hopefully it's not consistent. Glad we fixed Albert. Ooh, this is actually tricky if you don't take out the fish. Oh, we got fucked bad there. Okay, 128 or 127. Yeah, if you're not careful there, the tentacle will actually hit you and you're basically fucked. Frozen fruits in a bag. I think frozen fruits in a bag are only really useful for, like, smoothies. And I think that's the main purpose of them, smoothies and desserts. Like, if you want to eat them as actual fruit, they're not great. Because there's no way to thaw them out where they're not going to end up kind of goopy. So they're really more of an ingredient, unfortunately. Okay, let's get in another wave of enemies that are at 127. We're right after the tentacles. Do a frog wave there. Seems appropriate after the tentacles. Grapes in the... I've not done grapes in the freezer. I've heard good things, but I've not tried it. Pachuco, get out of here. Oh, I've not put butter on a Pop-Tart, and I don't intend to. That sounds less up my alley. I cannot say I've ever pooped in a balloon. There's a first time for everything. I feel like if you're putting butter on a Pop-Tart, you might as well just fucking throw your Pop-Tarts away and go buy the Pillsbury, like, toaster strudels. I had a toaster strudel for the first time in my life earlier this year. And I understand their whole marketing strategy now, because they actually are, like, significantly better than Pop-Tarts in most ways. What was disappointing, though, is I also saw that they had, like, savory breakfast toaster strudels with, like, eggs and bacon shit in them. They're not stuffed enough. It's barely anything. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Pachuco, hush. Very busy. Remember ages and ages ago when I did that frozen breakfast review video, and I ended up really liking the Red Baron breakfast pizzas? I wish I could still find those. Those were actually really good. Oh man, we got fucked up there. Those were actually really good, and I wouldn't mind having those for breakfast. Maybe like 1:31-ish would be a good time for the next one right after that. Thank you. We worked very hard on these text boxes. They were very important to get looking the way we needed them to. Okay, 1:31 is another good time to spawn something in. 131 seconds. So that's just over 2 minutes. Just over 2 minutes. Is there another mechanic we can implement here? Chico, come here. If you're gonna be annoying, come here. Okay. I've been thinking about doing another food review, but I just don't have the time with having to watch this damn kid. I love her so fucking much, but you don't know how much attention a kid like this needs until you have one. Every, like, once or twice a year I think of doing another stupid-ass, like, food review video or something simple just for fun, but it's just hard to find the time. Okay. Is there... Let's see. What can we do as a new mechanic now that we're, like, approaching the halfway point of the stage? Do I ever wonder if baby food... I always tasted the baby food before I gave it to the little girl. Most of the stuff was actually pretty good. Like, I remember, like, when she was, like a little after 1. I don't remember, but there was this one Gerber thing they would do where it's like a combo. It would be like beef, tomatoes, carrots, something. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but it tastes like beef stew. I feel like if I took that baby food and like mixed it in with some fresh like white rice, it would be extremely delicious. Like, it was pretty good. It was pretty damn good. Chico, you have like crud corners of your eyes. Get that out of there. Okay. Okay. New mechanics that we can implement for this part of the stage. We're over 2 minutes into the 5-minute stage. There's something new we can put in. It doesn't have to be complicated. Whirlpools. Whirlpools. Missiles coming from the top to dodge. Another option. I kind of like that. Okay, the whirlpools are interesting because it could kind of fuck with Arthur's control. Not 100% sure, that's not a bad idea. Meg started making breakfast burritos out of baby food breakfast jars. Whirlpools are an interesting mechanic. It could, like, try to pull you towards it. It might be a little tricky to implement, but that is an idea. I like the idea of missiles coming from the top to dodge, or like beams to dodge or something. Another idea is enemies or missiles or whatever that come from the bottom of the screen, and you have to kind of move out of the way for. Yeah, I mean, we can do most or all of those ideas. They're not hard to do. To at least try. Whirlpool, I'm a little iffy on if we can get the controls working well, but we can try missiles / energy beam / whatever coming from the top you have to dodge. We can look at whirlpools. We can consider enemies or attacks or missiles coming from the bottom that you have to look out for. That's another way. We could have it so the whirlpool comes in and you just can't get near it, and it doesn't actually affect your control. We can look at it, but okay. So, for something coming in from the top, an attack, missiles are an option. Like some kind of beam. It's not a bad idea or anything, because I don't remember the details of how I set the sine wave thing up with the gadget bricks, but some of that has me wondering. I don't remember. I know the basic levels in the Gex stage were simple. But how complex did that boss fight get? Like, our best fucking boss fight, how many events did that end up taking in total again? Look at that. Just squeaked over 150 for the best boss fight in the fucking game. That is just mad. That's insane. It was so nice. Part of me kind of wishes we had kept the entire game more on the simple side, like the Gex stages. That way it would be a little more click and play core, you know, and it would have been done a lot quicker. But I also don't regret what we've been doing here. Like, we're pushing click and play really hard, and I've said this multiple times in the past, I don't know of any click and play game that pushes click and play as hard as we're pushing it. I don't know any. If anyone knows one, I would fucking love to know it, love to see it. Let me know. Let me know if any of you know of a click and play, not Games Factory or above, specifically click and play game that pushes click and play harder than this. I can't think of any. I cannot think of any. Maybe we could have, like, missiles that kind of come in, you know, they kind of... How do I do this? Like, they come in slow towards the top. Well, it doesn't even have to be super slow. It can be slower, and then they go kind of like... They speed up as they get lower, so it's... you can kind of see that they're coming, but it's also difficult to dodge. That's one option. Another thing I would like is maybe like a vertical tentacle that comes down from the top that kind of cordons off part of the screen, so you're kind of forced into one area, which will let, you know, enemies kind of be a bigger deal. So that's another thing. I should be writing this down. Where's my notepad? What's synchronize do? I refuse to use WordPad. Notepad for life. Notepad for life. Notepad. Help. 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 Oh, it's right there. Okay. Arthur stage ideas. Missiles. Spacebar. Coming from top of screen. Can start slower and pick up speed in a quick wave. Okay. Area denial. Vertical tentacles from top of screen. Come on stage and stay for a few seconds before leaving. Enemies from bottom of screen. Come in from bottom and then stick around at top of screen. Maybe a warning arrow at bottom of screen, you know, since we can't look behind us. And then maybe whirlpool, alternate area denial object. Maybe does damage. Maybe pulls you in. It's hard to say. Earth ideas. Let me close out of Photoshop. Paint, get some RAM back. Okay. Maybe we'll start with the missiles. We already have a graphic. Right? Do. Probably take these and kind of blow them up a bit. Let's say we'll touch this up in a second, but I don't know how to not press the buttons. Incoming missile. Right. And touch up these graphics a bit. Give me 8x, I need to see. Alright. Okay. This part can be brought down a bit. I'll leave that there. Get that looking neat. Yeah. There we go. And this can kind of retain some of its thinness. Come on. I like that a little better for the shape. Do one of these real quick. Better. Alright, let's make sure the hotspot is good. It is. An action point up here. Good. Alright. Have a good looking incoming missile. Bye, Megastar. Thanks for joining us. Okay, this can remain a static object for now. And we will have it kind of do a simple, kind of just vertical movement thing. For the sake of testing, we will just kind of place one up here. You know what? I actually want the hotspot to be at the very top. To make spawning it in be a little more simple. So we'll just do it right at the edge. Alright. So, if... wrong one. No, not in a zone. That's not right. That's better. Good. So, if the missile exists, then every, and we'll work on this a bit, we'll have to tweak the number. We'll start with 2. Every 2 stinky seconds, we will add 1 value A, and then and as long as it exists, every frame we want to set its Y coordinate to its current Y coordinate, not +1, plus its ultra value A. So theoretically, it should kind of slowly kind of accelerate on screen, but we're gonna have to fuck with the timing, so let's see. Oh, too fast, see? That zoomed right by us. Okay, so let's try every 5 milliseconds. Yeah, this stage is turning out alright. We managed... The important thing is we crawled out of the fucking Simpson dumpster. That might be okay. Let's try every 6. Kind of like 6. So we can kind of spawn these in, like... Now, you know what? We're gonna do 5. So we can spawn these guys in with waves of other enemies to complicate things, or like in the middle of waves. Lots of ways we can utilize this sort of thing. Warning sign? So my idea with this was the warning sign to basically just be the slow period at the start, where it takes a second before it zooms. You know? It kind of gets faster the further down it gets. But it'll definitely have a sound effect. I'm thinking like a... to make sure that at the start of the level we destroy it. Okay, so those are an option that's going to get mixed in. It's not necessarily a foundation for the next chunk. That's definitely something we're going to start shoving in here. Let's experiment with the vertical tentacle. Get this guy's graphic. Copy it. Make a vertical tentacle. Keep it on the bottom. Rotate it. Not what I wanted to do. Oh man, I got a nose whistle. It's so annoying. Like, you can't probably hear it, but it's driving me insane. Oh, it's facing that way. I actually want to flip it like this. Like this. And the hot spot is still at the center, which is good. Part of me kind of wants these tentacles to have like at least a 3-frame animation, but that's gonna not be worth the time sink right now. Okay, so we're gonna want to kind of have this come in a similar speed as the horizontal tentacles do, but then they're gonna stick around once they're down for a little longer, so we can use it to block things off for a set period of time. So let's peek at how we did the horizontal tentacles. That's a disturbing number of events. So I think the vertical tentacles can kind of be simplified in that they're not going to interact. They don't have to interact with projectiles, because the horizontal ones had to, because they come in, they have to block off your shots. But the vertical ones are vertical. You shoot vertically. So there's not much point in having them block the shots, because there's not going to be much behind them other than more tentacle. So this shit will be shaved off at the end, at least. Okay, so let's just take a quick peek at how these work again. We have A and B, which is involved in the modulus thing again. I'm not sure if we're going to want to do the even-odd modulus this time, but we'll see. We don't need the code to make it change direction, as long as they only come from the top and not from the bottom. So maybe we'll keep it that way for now. Just y plus 2? Really? That's all we're doing? Really? Huh. Y plus 2. Oh. Wait, no. Maybe? How do they look? Is that really y plus 2? It is. Part of me feels like they should move at a fraction of the background's speed instead, but I don't want to fuck with that right now. So they entered y plus 2 vertically, but horizontally they're moving at 10. So honestly, we might not have these guys move at the same speed at all. We might just have them kind of slowly come in as an in-between, because if they come in too slowly, it's a little annoying. which is always an option. But if they come in too quickly, they're gonna be really unfair. Let's see. If this guy exists, software. This is Click and Play. This is a 94, 2004. Over 20-year-old piece of software for making games, and it's the great-grandfather of Multimedia Fusion. Not Multimedia Fusion. It's the great-grandfather of Click Team Fusion, which is what was used to make... The most popular game it was used to make is Five Nights at Freddy's. This is the grandfather of the software that was used to make Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, so if Tentacle exists... Let's experiment with a consistent speed first, and if that doesn't work, we'll implement something slower. So if Tentacle exists, and... Five Nights at Freddy's was made... No, Five Nights at Freddy's was made with Click Team Fusion, not Flash. This isn't Flash. So if Tentacle exists, and Tentacle's position is... Vertical position is less than 480... And let's start... First, we'll try doing it just as set speed, and if we don't like that, we will change it. Y coordinate. We'll try +4. Alright, let's see. Of course, we're gonna have a little bit of lag. A lot of bit of lag. God damn, come on. Finish loading. Finish loading. Okay, refresh. That's okay. I kind of want the movement to be more gradual. And it's going to block certain aspects up here, like our life counter, so we might want to consider active objectifying that as well, but we'll see. Okay, so let's say... Let's try at a similar rate to the missiles and see how that works. Every 5... milliseconds. We'll add the value 1. Not of the missile. Set y coordinate to y coordinate plus value a. We also want it to stop going downward once it reaches the bottom. So, if the y coordinate is greater than 480, and we also want... I don't know if we're going overboard by having the if number of object is greater than 0 before we do the event. I don't know if that's helping or harming us, but right now I'm stuck in this mindset of doing it, so we'll just keep doing it for now. So if y position is greater than 480, we will set y coordinate to 480, not 490, 480, 480, and set value a to 0. It should hopefully stop the tentacle from proceeding. Let me save first, because we've been having big crash issues with the tentacles. We're gonna have to let it lag out first before we can actually test it. Okay, refresh. Maybe a little slower. Like a touch, a little tiny inkling slower. Try every 7 milliseconds. Is that okay? Like, you see it coming. It's not immediate. That might be enough time to react. Of course, right now it doesn't do anything to us, but that might be enough time to react. Hold on 1 second. I want to, like, snuffle my knuffle a bit here. That means blow my nose. I just made it up. Do you like it? I can't get it out of my nose. If you want to make a Shin Megami Tensei, is that what that's short for? If you want to make a clone of that, you can do it pretty easily. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I've talked about this in the past, how the easiest genre of video game to make is a vertical shoot 'em up, which is why there were so many vertical shoot 'em ups back in the beginning of gaming, because it's the easiest game type to make. A close second place is JRPG, because think about what you have to do. You have an overworld which amounts to nothing but moving a character around in 4 directions in chunks and make sure they can't walk through walls. That's the extent of the overworld. Slap in a dialogue system. The bulk of the game is the combat, and that comes down to menus. Like, the combat is literally just menus in classic JRPGs. A menu is simple as balls to program. So JRPGs are more or less the second easiest, like, game genre to make back in the day. Which is why there were so goddamn many of them on, like, the PlayStation and Super Nintendo. So if you want to make an SMT clone, whatever that stands for, you could probably do it. As, like, a pretty relatively quick thing once you learn, like, whatever system you want to use. I wonder if there's a way I can make the tentacle kind of hang out a bit up there, maybe do a quick bob before stabbing down. Like, rather than going, woo, maybe I can do, like, woo. So there's a little, like, hold on. I think I heard a little girl do a quick shriek. She is awake, clapping her hands and kicking the side of her grip. When did she wake up? It's like around 2:20. Marker is awake. Woke up 20 minutes ago. Oh, a short nap. What a stinky girl. Look at this stinky girl. I want to show you. Hold on. Oops. I'm opening all the wrong windows in my life here. Look at her. Look at this stinky girl. This little fucking stink stain. What a doofus. What a doofus. Okay, I stopped paying attention to the game, and, this is the condition it's currently in. What a fucking mess. How do you do combat AI in a JRPG anyway? you would either do what they probably did in the early days, the beginning of the JRPG, where it was probably nothing more than just a random number generator. Like, enemy has this many attacks. Roll a number for the attack. This number makes this attack happen. That's probably how they did in the early days. Later on, they would, you would set up just a simple kind of, like Rank Dankus said, a flowchart. If, enemy AI is, if the player, has a mage on their team, and the mage's MP is high, and enemy has attack that can lower MP, use MP lowering attack. After a few turns, it'll check, it'll see that the MP is lower, it won't do that attack. It'll go on to the next thing in the flowchart is, oh look, enemy's health is low on this character. Focus physical attacks on this character. It's a flowchart. If you can think in a flowchart, you can put that into code and set up a relatively competent, like, JRPG AI for, like, a classic style JRPGs. JRPGs are very straightforward. It's a very simple thing to program. If once you have a grasp on whatever engine, language, etc. you're using to make the game, it's probably one of the simplest things to do. If Click and Play allowed transferring data between frames in a simple way, we could have done a JRPG as one of these levels. Easily. Okay, so I want the tentacle to go like... whoop, do a quick bob before it comes down. So we can probably do this by setting up kind of like a state for it. Normally I'd use A for the state. But I guess we can use B. Or we can just swap out our fucking number. It's not a big deal. B. Are we doing the B? Add 1. Add 1 to B. Gamers, oh, I'm craving Taco Bell all of a sudden. But Cinco's allergy to milk, to cow milk, has resurfaced, so... I'm not gonna get to have Taco Bell, god damn it. Ugh. Okay, let's make sure the current thing still works. She's allergic to milk but pours it on her bed. Her allergies come in and out. It's the most fucked up thing. And I'm sure there's some medical explanation for it, but doctors in America don't actually want to, like, diagnose your problems. They just want to get you out of their office. So we'll never know why Cinco's allergies come and go. Okay, AI still works as it does now, so now we just have to implement kind of a state system. So we'll use alterable value A for the state. If it equals 0, it just spawned in, so we'll have it come in. Once it hits a certain speed on its value B while it's in state 0, we will flick it to state 2, which is represented by alterable value A equaling 1. In state 2, we will have it back out, reversing what we're doing to the speed value. Once it's backed out during stage 2, we flip it to stage 3. In stage 3, we have it do what it's doing now, where it comes in. So that will get us the bobbing effect that we want. So, let's test this. If I'm going to keep doing the if number is greater than 0. I don't know if we need it, but my brain is stuck there right now, so I'm going to let it do it. It really sucks. I'm just putting this out there. It really sucks to be autistic. Like, I'm 100% sure I'm autistic, and I was just never diagnosed as a child. Like, look at the shit that we do on stream. Clearly I'm autistic. It really sucks being both autistic and have an inclination to being an asshole. It really sucks. Because as an autistic person, I get very easily annoyed at shit that either doesn't interest me or doesn't interest me enough, disinterests me so much that it makes me upset. So all these little things I end up like complaining about like it's ruining my life, when in reality it doesn't fucking matter that there's no good frozen breakfast burritos out there. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm just autistic as fuck. But that's another thing. Being just autistic enough that you get mad about breakfast burritos, but not autistic enough that you jerk off to Sonic the Hedgehog porn is a weird place to be. Because you're not normal enough to, like, watch football and talk about what's playing on Netflix. And you're not autistic enough to be in a Deltarune Discord server. You're right banging in between, where you're not normal, and you're not terminally online. You're just banging in between, and you feel like you don't belong. And wow, it's really depressing when I say it that way. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm good. Jesus. That did not go in the direction I wanted it to go. But I also forgot the direction I wanted to take it halfway through. I joke sometimes and say that like COVID fucked up my brain forever, but part of me actually wonders if it actually did fuck up my brain forever. Like if I can't think on the level I used to be able to think, and I don't realize it because I can't think on the level I used to be able to think. Kind of a fucked up thing. Okay. If tentacle exists, if we're in state 0, we want to check if the speed is greater than or equal to a certain value. So let's say greater than or equal to... I don't know. We're going to have to kind of guess the value. We'll start at 10, and we'll go from there. So if it equals 10, what we will do for testing purposes is we will destroy it. You're pretty sure the vast majority of us have the same tastes. That's part of the issue, is that I feel like a lot of people that fall... Okay, let me draw the spectrum here on screen for you of what I'm talking about. Like... this box right here represents... the spectrum. Oop, too big. Hold on. Yeah. Almost. By the way, me taking so long on this is also part of my spectrum issue here. Okay, this is the spectrum. Okay. For some reason, I thought I had access to a gradient tool inside of fucking MS Paint, but I don't. So we'll fake it. Okay. And we will fake it by copying this into Photoshop. I'm kidding. Okay. So, over here on the left... Wow, that's great. Over here on the left is one side. Over here to the right is the other side. The green side is the side that... that watches all the new shows on streaming platforms. Oops, that's not the right one. And talks about it with their friends and the people that they are acquainted with at work. That's that side. The other side here. The side on the left is the side on the left is the side that gets into arguments on the internet over what different stages, over how different stages in Sonic the Hedgehog are pronounced. Okay. So, this side my toolbar back here. This side. Bring it back down a little too big still. Small. Purchase. Okay. Watches. The Boys on Netflix. That's that side. This side has My Little Pony background in their Linux term. Okay. Those are the two sides here. Then in the middle, you have this stinky poopy middle, where you don't care. The side in the middle, where you don't care that Will Smith slapped people at the Emmys. But you also don't want to have sex with Sans Undertale. Being right here in the middle, where you don't fall into either side, sucks. It sucks. Why did I spend so much time on this? Why did I spend so much time on this? It's almost 3. And I'm not trying to make fun of... Okay, I guess I literally just made fun of everyone by saying that, but I'm not joking about me probably having autism. I clearly probably have autism. Like, look at all the shit that we do on stream. I clearly probably have autism. So I'm not trying to speak ill of autism as a thing to have. I'm just saying I probably have it. Okay, let's test this. Okay, it comes it's a little far down. Let's bring it back to like 7. Seven might be too low. Let's do 8. I kind of like 8, but I almost want it to come in a little slowly initially. So let's say up here, that speed, it's gonna be if A 0, 1, if A is greater or equal to 2. No. If A equals 2, we will move downward at that speed. And we'll do another event here. Or if A equals 0, which is when we're spawned in. And we'll move it down just a touch slower. We'll try 10. Okay. Busted something up there. Oh, I didn't copy an event over. I'm dumb. Try again. 10's a little better. So we'll have it come in, back up, and then, yeah. Instead of that, we're going to do less than 2. So what happens for the previous 2 steps. Okay. Sorry, just thinking. Okay, so we'll change this to value. Set alterable value A to 1, so we're in the second stage. No, we do only want this for 0. Because 1 is going to be in a different direction. Okay, so when we're in 2. And it's going to be for the second state, where we're going to remove from B. So it should come on screen, and then it should fuck off. Oh, comes a little too far. And it's coming too far because instead of just immediately turning around, it's hitting the brakes. So you can see it kind of ease before it turns around. Comes in, it eases, and then turns around. Which means we have to make the turnaround happen a little earlier. So rather than 8, let's try 4. 4 is a little too much, so we'll try 5. Five I like, okay. So then we'll detect the next state. So if we're in state 1, and rather than detecting the speed, we're going to detect the Y position. So if Y position no, let's do the speed. That way we can kind of hit the brakes earlier. Because if we do by Y position, it could still work, but I'd rather do it by speed. So if B is... Why did I do B equals 5? It should be greater than or equal 5, just in case. Okay, so if it's less than or equal to... I guess we can try -5 and see what happens. Okay, -5 is not powerful enough. Let's try -6. That works. Okay. I like that. It goes, ooh. Maybe when it actually does the stab, it can go a little quicker, though. Now that it has a proper kind of warning at the beginning. So rather than every 7, try every 5. We'll give it one more moment. I like that. Oof. Whoop. Good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. We implemented a good... Well, the movement of a good mechanic, we have to code in having it hurt you. Can't believe I spent so much time on my poopy Spectrum.
Holy crap! Goodbye, stupid. We've had a lot of fun on your crappy computer. Please don't ever come back.
Alright, so
made a good bit of progress. We fixed the Albert direction bug. We worked through another chunk of the stage with the tentacles. We started on the vertical tentacle. It's going to need some collision. And we got a few ideas for more things to implement. So those ideas, the tentacle, the missile, enemy coming from behind, and play with the whirlpool, those should carry us through a few more, hopefully a few more minutes of the stage as we approach the end to get to the boss. Why am I so tiny over here? I want to be tiny down here. Now you can't even see me. But yeah, so let's reconvene Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern for Amazing Spider-Man, I think. Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, hopefully, for more, I don't know what I'm going to play on Friday. And next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, more of this. Take care. Have some Taco Bell if you can. Stop saying weird shit on the internet that you're going to regret. And, yeah.